Welcome to the second video in the lesson on investigating circles. Here we're going to explore the relationship between radius and diameter. So let's recap. The radius is the distance from the center of a circle to a point on the circle, whereas the diameter is a line connecting 2 points on the circle and passes through the center. So let's consider this scenario. It says, what is the distance between two people standing directly across from each other on the edge of a circle? So we're essentially looking for this distance here. Now you might recognize this as the diameter because it goes from one point of the circle to another point and passes through the center. Now you might also notice that the distance from the person standing on the right to the center is the radius. Now the same for the person standing on the left. Their distance to the center is also a radius. So if I put those two radii together, I end up with the diameter. So we can say that the diameter is twice the radius. Now we can express this relationship as a mathematical equation by saying that d is the diameter and r is the radius. So d equals 2r, 2 times the radius. Now another way to look at this is by saying that the radius is half of the diameter. So r equals d divided by 2. So you can use either of these formulas depending on what you're looking for. So let's practice what we just learned. So we'll put the formulas here so we can refer to them if necessary. So it says, given each circle, determine the radius and diameter. So in A, I notice that there's a line drawn from the center of the circle to a point on the circle. So that is the radius. So I can fill that in here. And in order to find the diameter, I have to double that because the diameter is 2 times the radius. So 2 times 7 is 14 centimeters. Now it's important to always include your units. For B, I see that the line goes all the way across, so that is the diameter. In order to calculate the radius, I have to divide the diameter by 2. So 15 divided by 2 is 7.5 millimeters. Now in C, I see that the line only goes halfway across the circle, so that means that's the radius. And then in order to find the diameter, I'm going to multiply the radius by 2. So 2 times 16 is 32 meters. So we're going to do the same thing here, except this time we don't have a diagram. We're just given some information. So A tells me that the radius is 6 centimeters. So we got to calculate the diameter. So here's our formulas again. The diameter is double the radius. So 2 times 6 is 12 centimeters. In B, this time we're given the diameter, and we got to figure out the radius. So to do that, I got to take the diameter and divide it by 2. And doing that gives me 11 meters. And for C, I'm given the radius again. So if I double the radius, 3 times 2, I get 6 kilometers. Now let's have a look at this word problem. It says, two friends sit directly across from each other at a round table. If the distance from the edge of the table to the center is 60 centimeters, how far apart are the two friends? So we're not directly told what the radius or the diameter is. We have to figure that out from the context. So it tells me that the distance from the edge of the table to the center is 60 centimeters. So in the diagram, that's like from here to here. This is 60 centimeters. Now since that's halfway across the circle, that's in fact the radius. So again, even though they didn't directly tell us what the radius is, we can figure that out. Now since we're looking for how far apart the two friends are, that's the full distance across, that means that we're looking for the diameter. So we can use this formula here. D equals 2r. So replacing my radius with 60, I get 2 times 60, which is 120 centimeters. Now with any word problem, you should always answer the question with a statement. So I'm going to say that the two friends are 120 centimeters apart. All right, so let's look at this last word problem now. Kyle has a rectangular piece of wood that measures 2 meters by 1.6 meters. Now, if he's going to cut out a circle to use as a tabletop, what's the diameter of the largest circle he can cut? So since we want to maximize this piece of wood, I can create a circle that goes all the way to the top to all the way to the bottom. Or I can have a circle that goes all the way to the left, all the way to the right. But you can see if we use that one, the piece of wood is not quite big enough. So this is in fact the largest circle that he can create. Now what we're looking for is the diameter. So that's the distance here going down through the center all the way down. And you can see that that's essentially the same as the width of the piece of board. So we can say that the diameter of the largest circle is 1.6 meters. So after you can complete the activities, you can move on to the next section.